Today we are about to talk about social entrepreneurship. So where the business mind meets the social impact in its pure form. It's quite innovative. We have a very important guest that is part of the Ashoka network. Actually, she works for Ashoka. And I'd like to welcome and thank you a lot, Enrica Cornaglia, for being with us today. She's going to appear soon. There she is. Welcome, Enrica. Thanks for being with us.
Hello. Hi, Giuseppe, and thanks for inviting me.
So, today it's a very delicate topic. And I'd like, first of all, to ask you basically what you do with Ashoka and also something about you. How did you start this passion about working with social enterprises and the social environment?
Yeah, well, first of all, I started working for Ashoka in 2015, and before that, I've been working the social field for basically all my life. And if I have to go very back in the days and tell you when I decided that I wanted to work for an international organization, I have to go back when I was 17 years old. And I took, I studied for 1 year in the United States state as an exchange student. And I took an American high school diploma, had a full year of high school there. And that's when I understood that working in an international environment is just so enriching, and that was what I wanted to do in my life.
We have this thing in common, like me too. I spent 1 year in the States when I was basically the same age, and it's quite enlightening, to be fair. So sorry to interrupt, but yeah, it was nice to share these things that actually we have in common.
Yeah, it's definitely something that is life-changing as an experience. And because when you are so young, I mean, when you are in your teen years, which is also something that we work on in Ashoka, start your change maker journey when you are a teenager, when you are, so open for new realities and innovation. So when I came back to Italy, I decided to study political science and international um, relations, and then I started also to work in an international NGO which is called International Civil Service. I was in the national board there, and I was taking care of several projects abroad, especially in former Yugoslavia, where just the war happened. And then I was the co-founder of a social cooperative in Italy and in my hometown, and I worked for several years there in very different kind of projects, either with teenagers, teachers, and engaging very different stakeholders. Then I moved to Rome when in my early 40s, basically. That was when Ashoka was launched in Italy, and I started to volunteer for Ashoka. I started the first innovation map, a social innovation map for Ashoka in Italy. I coordinated that, and that's how I started my work for Ashoka.
So tell us something about Ashoka and its core, because for me it's very famous, but maybe some of our audience might not know exactly what Ashoka does. So let's talk about it also, because it's quite an inspiring activity that they do. So I'd like to share this a little bit with more details with the people listening to us right now.
Yeah, well, first of all, Ashoka is ranked as the 5th most impactful NGO by NGO Advisor. And it's an NGO that doesn't work on a direct service, but it's basically a social, it's a network. It's the biggest network of social entrepreneurs in the world. It was founded by Bill Drayton in 1981. It now counts around 3,600 social entrepreneurs in its networks. We have around 92 countries where Ashoka is working, and while the staff size at a global level is more than 300 people, around 500, I will say. And so
very impressive.
Our mission basically is to identify and support the world's leading social entrepreneurs and learn from their patterns in their innovation. So to be able to mobilize a global community that embraces new frameworks so that we can build an everyone change maker world. This is our, our claim. Everyone can be a change maker. Everyone can be someone who leads the change. And so this is basically what Ashoka does. And what I do for Ashoka is I work for the venture and fellowship program. I'm the program manager, so I select the Italian social entrepreneurs that then enter the global network. And to enter the global network, there is a very powerful and strict selection. And
so before actually, that would have been my following question: the criteria to select the entrepreneurs and to be part of it. But I wanted to say something first. That in Ethics for Growth, we train people and companies, but mainly people, to actually either start or transform their business into a social impact business or into a sustainable business. So who knows that maybe among the people that are actually following us could hide the next Ashoka Fellow, for instance, either here in Italy or anywhere in the world. So this is very important. Whoever has the ambition of actually growing and starting and growing a social enterprise or a business with a social impact, well, now it's very important that they understand also these criteria that you're going to enlist, because are not only the criteria to be part of a very important network, but for instance, they are criteria that are key to a successful activity, because basically they are a guarantee of quality and of goodness of the project that these entrepreneurs are pursuing. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, now sorry. Okay. Yes. So the criteria are 5. And also 5 are the steps for the international process that people go through. And the 5 criteria are 2 on the project and 3 on the person, because the fellowship, which is the network you enter, so you become an Ashoka Fellow, is to the person. I mean, it's not to the project, because we believe that change leaders are the one who are leading the change, and they can also, change something about their strategy or their job or whatever, but they still are change leaders. So that's why we select people and not projects. Also, we do not select ideas. We select projects that already have an impact, and they have been working for at least 2 to 3 years, proving that their idea is working and that they are producing impact. So the first 2 criteria are that it has to be a new idea that is solving a social problem where the society is stuck. And the second criteria is the social impact. And by social impact, we mean that the project has to be a project that has more impact than just being a direct service to beneficiaries.
So you mean that this impact must be evaluated, must be measured, basically, with certain metrics, I reckon.
At some point, yes, but more than the impact, we managed to measure the outcomes in terms of what change are you making with your project? What are the difference in people's life that you want to achieve? So, for example, if I have a small project for children and I like also a care, a daycare for children, I work with 20 children every day, and that's it. That's my impact. And that's a direct service, and it's something that we do not consider for the fellowship. But if I'm working on a new methodology, my methodology is replicating in different cities, and I'm creating a system of change because that methodology is going to be the right one to, let's say, to better have kids with learning disorders be more engaged at school, let's say. So then I have a potential Ashoka fellow that is working for the good of all, for the systemic change.
Yeah, I understand. And actually, I'd like to stress this point that you just mentioned, because these are very managerial criteria, actually. That is basically scalability. So when we, in our training programs, of course, we talk about measuring everything that you're doing and everything you want to achieve. But also, for a program to be successful, it needs to be scalable. You need to scale it up, because if not, your impact will be very limited. Not only the impact, but also then the business that you do is going to be limited, and the people involved are going to be limited. So very important point. Thank you for mentioning this, because it's quite important, and we want to communicate this a lot. So these are the first two criteria related to the project. Right. Then what about the people? What kind of people are these change makers?
What kind of people? Well, first of all, they have to have entrepreneurial qualities, because you know better than me that launching a social enterprise, it's super challenging. So if you quit after a few months, it means that probably that's not the good path for you. You just need to change. But if you are, really determined enough to go farther with your idea and to keep going in that direction, it means that you have those qualities to succeed. So this is one. The other one is creativity. You have to be creative. You have to, to find solutions, be a lot of a problem solver, definitely. And the third criteria on the person is to be to have ethical fiber, which means that you have to be trustful. People have to trust you, and Ashoka have to trust you. It happens not really often to stop a candidate for these criteria, but it actually happened a couple of times. And which doesn't mean that you are not a good person or whatever, but if there isn't consistency in what you're doing, what you're saying, and your past, and if you're not completely, reliable, sometimes we just leave it a little behind.
I totally understand, because as Ethics for Growth, we also work with some companies, and for us, even though sometimes it's difficult in this environment, but we decided and we need to select our customers as well. And we are against any kind of greenwashing, for instance, or this, using social activities to wipe out something that you did in the past or that you are currently doing. So I understand this is very important both for people and for companies. So when it's important to transmit that when you start a social enterprise, you cannot use the social image to perform business. Of course, there must be consistency and coherence between what you want to achieve and what you are communicating, what you're doing. So these are very good counseling that you are giving to the people who might be willing to start this kind of activities. So now I'd like to get to we're about to conclude our chat. We have a couple of minutes left. I want to address one more topic, that is the market. So, of course, these social enterprises are enterprises. So they are not non-for-profit organizations, but they actually compete in the market. They sell products, they have activities. How are they located in this profit, non-for-profit? They are in the middle. Tell us something about it.
Okay, so we have all kinds of legal entity, let's say, either not for profit, for profit. But what is the real point that we look at is if you are impact, you are impact, focus on impact, or focus on business. So if you are just looking for a business and to just create money, but you don't care about the social impact, then you are not a good fit for Ashoka. Also, if your business can be a very good one, for Ashoka, impact is first. So the organizations that enter our network are, yes, also organizations that have revenues, of course, because they all need a salary. People need to be paid for their work. And they also have to be sustainable. So, for instance, I will give you a couple of examples of Italian fellows like Luciana Delle Donne, which has she's the founder of Made in Carcere, and she created basically a social cooperative, and she hired people and she pays their salaries. She pays salaries for women that are inmates. They are actually in prison and they work inside a prison. So for the Italian law, this is like a super tricky thing. So you cannot work for free inside the prison because you are then you're like exploited, So so it's better for you not to do anything than work. So if you need to work, if you have to work, you also need a salary. And she created a system that is market driven, so that she sells the products that they made inside the prison, and she supports the whole business with the with the commercial, with the commerce.
So this is a great example, and the message here is that, of course, you can have some projects need to be non-for-profit because of how they are created, but it is possible to be competitive in the market and have an impact at the same time, and being sustainable with the commercial aspect of it, still reaching an impact. So the two things can go together, and a lot of the fellows in Ashoka are a great example of it. If you want to know more, go on the Ashoka website. I'm sure they're going to find a lot of fellows and examples and a lot of inspiration as well. Unfortunately, here we are at the end of our conversation. I would have stayed a lot, actually, to talk about it, but we will do it. We will do it because today is a very important day. I'm going to take the last minute to deliver this nice message. Actually, Enrica will be with us in the community of Ethics for Growth, the exclusive community that it's going to open today, actually in 1 minute. Link down if you want to subscribe to know a lot more about sustainable development, social enterprises, and any other social impact related topic, and of course profit related topic that make impact. And Enrica is going to be one of our guest speaker, so to go into deep of this social enterprise and Ashoka chat that we were having. We were going to do workshops, discuss a lot more, and I thank you a lot. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being for the future chat that we are going to have next year. So thank you very much, Enrica.
Thank you too.
And I'm gonna look forward to having you the next time, and to have a lot of you people that are listening to us. Thank you a lot for watching, and it's been a pleasure. Goodbye.
Bye. Thanks a lot.